Hey team, welcome to Inside the Movie Photographer with Jasin Boland. Today, we're going to hook straight into PhotoFolio with Justin Lubin, Hopper Stone, Hilary, Bronwyne, Gayle, Ron Henry, and Matt Kennedy. Now, there's some great shots here and two-parter. So, hope you guys enjoy it, and let's slip right into it. Hey, so who wants to fire PhotoFolio up first?
It's your show. You figure it out.
Let me see. I'm going to...
I'll just put my feet to the fire.
Yeah, okay, Justin, you're up.
I'll go first.
Okay, cool. Right, let me share the screen.
All right, PhotoFolio Central up there, like you're flying a plane.
Yeah. It is, right? Kapow! Look at that, like magic.
Oh.
Right.
Just a man and his teddy bear.
Thunder Buddy.
Oh my gosh.
This is a kid's movie, right? This is a kid's movie?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a kid's film. I love this movie.
Comedy.
What was the fart gag on it again? Thunder
Buddies.
Thunder Buddies.
Thunder Buddies. That's right.
Now this was Ted 2, so this was the sequel, which is the more adventurous outing of budget. But yeah, this was the actual picture of this was all you see is a stick with two eyes, and the visual effects guy put him in there for me because I did a lot of photography for them throughout the production, and as a reward, he gave me this image, which is still one of my favorite pictures with the bear in there. And with the bear not in there, it's a good behind-the-scenes picture.
Oh, so he was a green screen stick, and so this was your little unanimated stand-in.
Yeah, they animated this, or they had the program and dropped them in the picture. And I mean, it's screen accurate, and it's this is what it looks like in the movie. I mean, it's
so cute.
Pretty impressive. I was when I got this, I was like. Because like the whole movie, he's not there. He's like a stuffed bear, like they use as a stand-in. So you're always just like, there's no life to this stuffed bear. And then they do this, and you're like, changes everything. Makes it one of my favorite pictures.
It's a really great expression.
That's
Yeah, I love the emotion on the bear.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It's one of the all-time great buddy flicks too, isn't it?
Totally.
It is.
Yeah. This was a great experience. This was I feel like my reward for doing all the low budget horror films is I get to do this one, and it was such a great experience. So
Awesome.
I love it.
And I got to shoot in Boston, which meant that I had endless lobster rolls, which were well eaten.
Boston's a fun place to shoot.
Boston lobster rolls.
Good job.
Oh,
This is a great shot.
dude.
This was from like one of my favorite shows I worked on called Kingdom, and this was from the finale. And these two actors were legit like going at it. This is the guy punching is a guy named Frank Grillo, and the guy getting punched is a UFC fighter named Matt Hughes. And we actually shot this fight in sequence because they have to do the scene, run to the makeup trailer, get bruised up, come back, keep shooting. And they were really going at it, and I actually think that Frank punched him in the face because it was really I'm shooting through fencing, trying to get something, and no one knows what's going to happen. Like I didn't see choreography; it was like shooting a wedding. You just kind of follow the action, and this is like one of my favorite shots. I remember showing them this picture after the take, and they were so excited. Frank more than
so
Matt
you weren't
Hughes.
in the cage. So that's what I can see there. That's a bit of foreground from the wiring,
fencing,
right?
from the fencing.
Yeah.
Chain link? Is it chain link?
Oh yeah, those little streaks there. Wow.
Yeah,
That adds to that.
Yeah. Well, when you're wide open, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as the scene progressed, I got to go into the cage, and when they brought the cameras inside, I would go inside with, a wide lens and my periscope finder, and get low and just wide of everything. But this was like the ultimate shot from this fight, and it's one of those that literally it's like it hangs on my wall. I love it. It's just cool.
But
is it like an 85 or 50 mil lens or something?
This was a 70 to 200.
Right. Okay.
Because I had
Right. Oh, cool.
They also put me in like an outfit because I had to be ringside, so I was going to be in every shot, depending on where the camera looked. So I had to look like I knew what I was doing. But yeah, I think it was a 7200 like pressed right up against the fencing.
It's fantastic how the chain link isn't on either of the actors, though. It almost looks like it's a lens artifact off that light in the background or something like that. So it's very cool.
Again, it's like a bit of luck and just trying to follow where you nail it.
Yep. Where luck meets opportunity. Yep.
Yeah.
And it sticks with the Justin Lubin theme of a little bit of foreground. Some, reminds me a lot of some of the stuff that you do with reflections and that. It's really cool. I've been waiting to hear the story about this one.
This was on Purge Anarchy, and this was interesting because we couldn't be anywhere near this gun because it was a full-on, full loads, minigun. And the crew was sitting behind him, like on that seat. There was like an AC just sitting there, and I had to ask everyone to back up. I should get out of the shot because I had to put it on a tripod, line it up. I had to guess how big the flash was going to be. I had to guess the exposure when the flash was going off. And right when they were about to yell action, the AC did the sticks, ran, and knocked my camera over.
No.
And he's like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, man." I was like, "Get the hell out of my way!" And I'm like frantically because they're like, the AD's like, "Are you ready? We ready? 3?" I'm like, "No, hold on a second." I'm trying to set it back up, I'm like, "Oh," like freaking out. And I'm like, they're like, "Clear," and I'm like, "Oh," and I figure what the hell. And I run out of the shot and action, and I just start triggering it, and this emptied in like 3 seconds, and then cut. And then I went back, and the AC was like, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "You better not have screwed this." And I went back and I looked at the images, and I was like, "Okay, good." And the director looked over my shoulder, and he goes, "There's the poster."
It's like, all right, you'll live another day.
Yeah, my heart was beating. I was like, "Oh my God, if I had missed this, the studio," I mean, like you talk about like never being hired again. Like, if you had missed this was my flying then. This was like if I hadn't got it would have been my ass. And it was like, but they did it one more time, but that batch, I didn't like them as much as this. So everything was just perfect. Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant, man.
The muzzle flashes are tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
Because the film set always stops for the still photographer, right?
They were like, clear. I'm like, But I was going through my mind if these shots didn't come out, how I was going to torture like Dexter, the camera assistant. But it worked out fine, and he was forgiven.
That's
I mean, how much you underexpose to compensate for something like that? Like 2 stops?
I don't even remember. But I just because they hadn't done a test. Usually I can judge it from a test.
Sure.
But one test empties an entire bag, and I just kind of guessed like how big or long the flash was going to be, and it worked out. Because I just love seeing all the shells flying out of the gun, the muzzle flash, this guy's, hatred, and just,
I've got a big screen up here, and it looks just rad with the shells all like, there's movement through the shells, and it's just a wicked shot.
Yeah. And I mean, sharp too as attack. Oh man.
See, I don't see a lot of this black and white portraiture style from you, so I'm so glad that you threw this in.
Well, this is probably one of my favorite portraits because this is a movie that's coming out soon called The Tax Collector. And Shia, he wasn't the star of the movie. And so he was very adamant about not doing any key art shoots. He's like, this isn't my movie. And all this tattoo on him is real. He had that really done. And he said, he came on the set. It was like the last day of shooting, or my last day of shooting. And he showed up just to come hang out on set. He was a really nice person. I mean, really nice. And he came in and he said to me, he goes, "Hey, let's do a shoot." And I said, "Like for the movie or just?" He goes, "No, just us hanging out." He goes, "Let's just shoot the shit." And I said, "Okay." And so he goes, my mother's never seen these tattoos, and I want to show them to her." So we just started doing different stuff and fidgeting around on the seat, and he did that, and I shot that picture, and he's like, "Send that to me." So I sent it to him, and he texted me back. He just sent me back like 100 fire emojis. It was like, he goes, "I love this, and he showed it to the director. The director loved it, and but yeah, I find it to just be like one of those nice, moments. Like he's just kind of hanging out, and like you just see who he is. And I mean, he was a really nice guy. Every morning he'd come up, say hello, good morning, shake your hand. Then during the shoot, he was always in character. Like you wouldn't break character. Very method.
Wow.
And then at the end, good night, everybody. Thank you for a great day. And I was like somebody said, sometimes you just have to watch when someone's acting. Like you just put the camera down and just watch what's going on. And it was that he did that to this whole movie. So this was a fun moment. That was just like between the photographer and the talent.
I love how that's a standard craft services coffee cup. Like at every crafty, it's always those coffee cups, and they match his tattoos.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's like the coffee cup has a tattoo too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just a fun time.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, Justin, I didn't know you did horror movies.
So good.
I did my toe into that well every once in a while.
Holy cow!
Wow.
The greatest story with this shot is that it wasn't supposed to happen. It was another one of those, like, they shot this. We were shooting in Shreveport, Louisiana, but this shot the special effects guys were staying in our hotel. And they said to me, they go, so we'll see you tomorrow. This was Friday night. He goes, we'll see you tomorrow. I go, I'm not working tomorrow. There's nothing shooting. Oh no, we're cutting this body in half. And I'm like, no one told me. And he was like, oh yeah. Oh, there's not, there's no call sheet for it because it was supposed to be just like a small unit. Because these are some of the more seedy goings on in the film industry. And I said, well, I shot all this entire movie without anybody getting really killed. So I was like, I got to shoot this. And so I told them to call me when they were about an hour away from shooting it, where they were prepping this body. So I get the phone call, and the set was probably 10 minutes from the hotel. So I drove down there, and the producer sees me and he goes, what are you doing here? I said, I'm going to shoot this scene. He goes, I'm not paying you to be here. I said, don't worry, I'm going to own this photo. And literally I shot with like a 24-70, and the blade was like, this close to my lens as it passed by, because I was like super wide to get the saw chopping this dude in half. And at the end of it, like I'd spent like an hour cleaning the lens because it was caked in like this blood, but it was like a badge of honor. And I love that. It's like one of my favorite shots. And oddly enough, when I went to go do Fear of the Walking Dead pilot, one of the producers, a guy named Greg Nicotero, who's part of a famous company called K&D. He directs a lot of the Walking Deads. On his iPad was this photo, and he had no idea I had taken it. And he's I love this because the K&D did his mask and everything, but he's like, I love this picture. He goes, I had no clue you took this. I'm like, well, I'm glad it's on your iPad. That's a badge of honor.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's rad. Hey, Ron and I were talking yesterday about your interview because he watched it. He watched all of yours, but he only watches like 5 minutes of mine. I don't know why, but we were talking about your horror and gore, and oh my gosh, it's like freaks me out.
Scary movies.
Oh, is that it? Is that your 5?
Was that 5? I don't know.
I don't think so. Was that 5?
4.
Wait, Ted,
Kingdom.
Purge, Kingdom, this. Yeah, I only see 4.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Hold on.
4 is the new 5, I guess.
You're funny.
Yeah, right.
Oh wait, this might be
let me
5.
have a look.
Shia shot.
Oh right, Shia. Yes, that is 5.
So it was
yes.
5. Oh,
Yeah.
great. Okay, well there you go.
Right. Well, there you go.
Well, that was a good one to finish on.
Yeah.
Hey, then let's keep going in order. So Maddie. Maddie. I love this photograph. Oh my gosh.
Boom.
Yeah, so this is
boom, all right.
This is from a Netflix movie called Bright. This is Joel Edgerton. So this is a shot of Jolie, and it's Joel Edgerton and Will Smith. I picked this photo because this is one of those moments on set where there's a very good chance this shot never would have happened. He was walking through a hallway. Both of the cameras were touching the ceiling of the doorway. And the shot that they were shooting is him actually walking away from the cameras. And I don't know how I did it, but I think I was actually shooting through a couple cables that were on the outside of like the remote focus unit on a very long lens, teetering on a dolly on an Apple box. And Joel, as soon as he finished the shot, they yelled cut, and he walked back and he stayed in character, and boom, there's the shot.
Yeah.
And look, the background, that guy on the left, he's helping make it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, I just really like the colors, and I like a lot of the shadows that are here. And the shadow on the right, that may actually even be like a focus puller or something. Yeah, something, So it's
I use dollies and equipment as foreground all the time. I mean,
absolutely.
like
all the time.
flares that you get off the
Yeah.
off the C stands and
Sure.
and
Or
Yeah.
the little lights off the Preston units, the little red and
Yes,
green
yeah,
lights.
yeah.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
And some of the
all
best
stuff that
shots,
we can get away with.
and some of the best shots are always the ones that maybe aren't during when they're rolling.
Totally.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
That was kind of one of those photos, and this was a really tough movie to shoot on. But Joel and Will Smith were just fantastic. They were the best part about this movie. But it was almost all nights. We were shooting in the winter in LA. It was a really rainy winter, so all of our night exteriors were rain, and then we would make rain while it was raining.
Great.
And it was just really tough and really long hours too. 15, 16, 18-hour days sometimes. It was really tough, but visually a lot of fun.
You could make a good one sheet out of that image too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And Joel was great, I think he had 4 or 5 hours of makeup every day to get into that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
So this is from a movie called Stretch that Joe Carnahan directed.
Right.
It's a very underrated movie. It's kind of along the lines of Smoking Aces, which was a movie that he did as well, where there's a lot of really weird characters and just chaos happening all the time. And it was so much fun to shoot on. But it didn't have a shelf life. I don't think Universal was the original studio, and they really didn't know what to do with it.
Went straight to Netflix.
Yeah, well,
And it was amazing.
Well, Universal shelved it. They shelved it for a couple of years, and then Netflix picked it up. But this is a shot of Chris Pine as a kabuki warrior, and he goes to this exclusive mansion party, in Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, there's midgets on motorcycles and all kinds of weird stuff happening in the movie. And this was during a rehearsal, and he jumped up on top of this limousine. And the scene did not play out that way. He was actually down on the ground, but he jumped up there and he looked right at me, and there you go, snap away.
It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, seriously, it's and it was 3-week shoot, right?
No, it was a 6-week shoot. It was still
it 6
short.
weeks? Okay.
Yeah, it was short, but yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
Here you go. This is your calling card, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was an insane fight scene. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
I just love the emotions on both Chad's and Michael's faces, and it was just a fun film all over. But this sequence of the fight in the water, it was 3 or 4 weeks of being in ankle high water, because there's 2 fight sequences that take place at these Warrior Falls, and it was a lot of fun and not very easy to get because it was a massive set. The rocks were I think 8 stories high, and we had a lot of extras that were tied off on the rocks, and we had, at least 4 cameras. So there was a couple handheld cameras running around the water. We had 2 techno cranes all the time, so they're constantly swinging in and out. 2 boom guys, and then a lot of grips with bounces so it was really tough to kind of find those moments to get in there and get a shot. But well worth it, because I think this is one of the first look photos that they ran for the movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in Empire.
Yeah.
See, I really was that jealous of you. I remember watching the movie with Hunter and Maria, and we were all we walked out of there just completely blown away. It was so cool.
So it was fun. This is one of my favorite behind the scenes films shots. It's from a movie called Vice, and this is Christian Bale who plays Dick Cheney. And I just like the image because it kind of just puts everything into perspective, like how many hands, are on an actor at any given time, doing touch-ups and just kind of the look on his face was kind of classic. So, and he's fantastic. He's a fantastic actor to work with. He's very methody. He stays in character all the time, but it's fantastic as a unit photographer because this film, they shot on film, and every time they did a camera reload, I would step in front of the lens and ask Christian, hey, can I grab a couple pics? And he would stay in character as Dick Cheney. And when he gets to the older makeup, most days I would actually forget that I was photographing Christian. It was so good.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird, I don't think this is the closest we ever saw him that looked like Christian.
Oh, he was eerie good.
Yeah.
He was eerie good in that movie.
Yeah.
That is amazing. It is a great shot. I love all the hands everywhere and all the angles and the background of the slats on looks like a roof or something like that. It's just all just brings you straight into his head. It's pretty insane. Far out. I love doing the single interviews, but I have to say it is so much fun doing the 5-PhotoFolio because it's just like, look at that for a BTS.
Yeah, so I'm sure like everybody here love a good Slate shot.
Yeah.
And this was this was different than most Slate shots that I get. It was because we had multiple like video cameras. I think this was the inauguration of George Bush or something. And so Cheney's giving a speech, that's Christian as Dick Cheney. And when I didn't know what the Slate shot was going to look like until he actually threw it up there, and it was fantastic. So
That's great.
And Christian's, little heads framed out like right under the real Slate. So it was just. It was
I know the shadows, the Slate shadows,
the Slate shadow off to the right. That's amazing.
Shadows.
Yeah, it's like those multiple Slate shots, but with one Slate. So.
Yeah, love it. Ooh. Was that our 5 again?
Yeah.
5 goes so quick.
I don't know. I think so.
You'd had a
It's
10,
going so
10,
quick.
10 5-person 10 folio.
We got to keep a clicker.
Right. Well, this is good actually. Who's next in line?
Ron,
Ron,
I believe. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now, here you go. So is this like the original drawing for BlackRapid?
That's one of my first little sketches, trying to figure out what I was doing. And there's a sketch, I didn't give it to you, but it writes out Black Rabbit, like a rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was going to be called that, I thought. BlackRapid.com was taken. And so I just started sketching out what it could be and what it could look like. And RS, I think I said a BR Sport. And then this is in 2007. Yeah. And I was wanting BlackRapid, but I thought, I really do need the name and the .com. And I think it was like 10:30 at night. I just had this impulse to check the domain was open. And I couldn't believe it, actually. So I got BlackRapid.com, and I changed the name to BlackRapid.
So it was Black Rabbit, and that's insane.
I know. I don't
it's
think
a much better name.
It's kind of weird. I thought Black Rapid sounded like a cool sport thing, because I wanted it maybe eventually to expand, and I didn't want to corner it into a strap sound, and so I thought it just sounded like a cool name, but it was taken. But how often does that happen? That a domain opens up out of nowhere,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
so it was taken, and then you checked again, and it was free.
Yeah.
I had impulse like late at night, and I just check it again, and I looked and it was open. I can't believe it, Jason. It's just weird. I took it, and those are one of my sketches. I have a lot of little sketches of things like this, of how it's all going to come out, not knowing what I was doing at all, not knowing anything about this business.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I like the card holder, which is the what's it called? The
card holders?
But how you've got the card holder up the what do you call the little pouch?
The Jerry's or the Jimmy, they had a name, like a dude's name.
Oh, Joey.
Joey, that's it.
Joey.
Right.
Yeah.
The Joey.
Is that extra? Do you have to get those extra? I don't think my strap had one.
Yeah, no, those are an accessory.
Oh, it's an accessory. Okay.
Yeah. There's lots of. You should go and check it out. There's lots of good stuff there actually. And then so this is the original one with the original hardware, right?
That hardware was a machine shop in Seattle, and I didn't know how I was going to fasten it to the camera, and I was just trying to figure out, geez, how am I going to do this and make sense out of it? And so I knew this guy that had a machine shop. We knocked something out in about 4 hours. We figured out this would probably be okay, and and that was powder coated. It was $3.50 a piece to make, and that was this is a good lesson, because if you try to wait for perfect to get something launched, it'll never happen.
Right.
You always learn by just diving off the diving board, learn to swim from there. And so I waited 6 months trying to figure out how this hardware is going to work out. I just tried to perfect it too much, and this is what I came up with. And it worked for about, I think we had it for about maybe almost a year before we changed it to a carabiner and something else. This is all, the carabiner was off the shelf. The hardware that goes on the bottom of the camera was the machine shop. So. And
so the D-Link, that's something that you had to come up with too, right?
Yeah, I didn't know everything. And the R, I didn't know what the logo would be, and I didn't have any good ideas. Just R.
That's a what? Hold on, I missed that.
You see it's inside of a box, Jason, and that front part of the R breaks out, and that's like thinking outside the box vibe.
No way. Is that no way?
I love it.
Yeah, it works.
And it works that
it's simple and it's outside the box. Why not?
Yeah.
No way. That is like, see, that is. I'm actually blown away, because I've known you for so many years and I had no idea. I never recognized that.
The thing too, when I took this in for our first store, Glazer's Camera in Seattle was my first store that I had to take a chance on me, and it was this strap. And I took it in and I said, can I show you something? And to the buyer, and so we went back and I showed him how it works. It goes upside down and slides up, and everybody was like, oh, okay, let me call a couple other people in here. And they were talking to this Canon guy, the rep or whatever, and they go, what do you think this strap would go for? They're going like $19, 23 maybe. And I said, well, I'm paid $27 for them.
Right.
This was the first strap that was actually a premium strap out in the market. This has never been done before upside down. And I did a video, it's out there still. It's just a terrible video that I did. I was just so embarrassed. And I had a black shirt on, and I was using the strap. I thought, I'll show you how stealth it is. And on the comments, people were like, if I look like that dork. Myself out in public like that, you just get all sorts of crap, and so, but everybody, Digital Wedding Forum was my first place where I advertised it with a banner, and I got so much like, I wouldn't trust it upside down. Everybody was like hateful, and but I started buying it, and then it started to take off a little bit, and then you see people starting to go, yeah, I got one, I really love it, and it started this shift, that whole criticism thing, because no one tried it. They said, it'll screw up your sensor to have it upside down.
Never heard that one.
But,
no, I have to say it was definitely a bit of an adjustment in terms of mentality. But after I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, there's no reason it couldn't be upside down. I don't know, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had to think about it for a second, and Jason was a huge part in getting these straps into sort of our community. The only person why I'm in the biz there, because of Jason. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
That's very cool of you guys. Before BlackRapid, I used to put my 70 to 200 in a baby sling because it was 10 hours a day of it. And I actually wore my son's baby sling and I'll just leave my camera in that. And I've got photos of it somewhere. I'll send it to you one day. I should have found it out today.
That's funny. I never used straps until I went mirrorless, and it was straight to BlackRapid. I never used any other straps. So
nice.
Oh, really? You didn't have? I mean, how did you just held a blimp and then just put it down when you weren't using it?
Pretty much. I had an Apple box next to me, but I shot with 2 blimps, so I never did the lens change thing for most of the part, but they're too heavy, man. I didn't want to do it. I spent 12 years as an AC with a bunch of crap on my belt, so I didn't want to do that with still cameras.
Yeah. No, I had 2 blimps, but it was just, one on each side.
I only run one camera at a time.
Yeah.
I always felt like I was in the Wild West with them hanging on the side, and it would just be like, what shot do I want to use? Oh, pull up the 24-70, throw it back down, pull up the 7200, just be able to. But because I used to have just the regular camera straps, and they'd always slide off.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, we'd all be like this, or it's like when they had the straps, I didn't have to worry about that hanging.
Well, the reason I was going to need neck surgery is because I have regular straps, but then, you hunch your shoulders up to keep them from sliding off. You got 10 pounds on one side and 12 on the other doing this. Yeah. And you too can have degenerative spondylosis in your neck.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I've been given some other, I wouldn't even call them competitors, but some other products for camera support. And I tried them on a job, and within a couple hours, I threw them back in my bag and went back to the BlackRapid. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, when we started this thing, I've never seen so much knockoff in my life. And I came out with it. And when it took off, it actually took off because this really does make sense to how to carry a camera. And it's never been done before. So that was kind of a groundbreaking revolution thing. And then you just get all these knockoffs. And you also get in the States and other people that don't really recognize patents. And if I have to say, you have to have a patent on stuff like this sometimes because it gives you the opportunity to get some traction before some big company comes in and just wipes you out.
Sure.
So
right.
But I do get a lot of knockoffs.
I was just going to say, as far as comfort, I've tried the chest mounted apparatus and the on the belt and those things, and this is by far the most comfortable. So
thanks. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You sold yet, Hilary?
Yeah.
No, I get what she's talking about. She, there's body types too. She's really, lean and probably little shoulders and stuff. So it is kind of good to pay attention to that. And I really do want to pay attention to that and come back out with something that will accommodate that situation.
I can draw you some pictures of what would work.
Yeah. Cool. I like that kind of feedback. You can Instagram me anytime too, get a lot of Instagram messages from people from all over. So it really kind of is cool.
I find them just quickly about VR for me is in yes, it's comfort, but I'm like Matt. I only run one camera at a time, and I pick and commit. But I actually use them a lot for safety. And 2 things that when I'm shooting action sequence, I will be spotted by someone from the stunt department, and they will hold on to. I'll wear a sash belt and my BR because it's ballistics grade, and they will literally pull me out of the shot with that. And the other thing too is, again, like Matt, is shooting action. I will not use a strap, so I can unclip it. And if you've got a traditional strap, A, I can trip over it. B, someone in the stunt department or in a performer, they can trip over it. It can get hooked on stuff. So it just keeps everything out of the way, neat and tidy for me. And it really is a big safety issue for me to be able to do that. And I also wear I don't have it here. I stick a cable cutter in the top so that if I need to, I can just cut my my BlackRapid. I've got a few spares. I know a guy. I could get another one.
Yeah.
No, I mean at most, like when I was still shooting with blimps, I had a blimp on 2 sides of the DR1, plus I'd have an unblimped 5D on a sports strap in the middle. So I would wear sometimes up to 3 cameras. Whew. And yeah, no, you're right. It was heavy, but it was balanced, and I could leave my shoulders dropped. And when you got the little stops on the thing to keep your camera from swinging around, I felt perfectly safe. Doing all that, and I didn't get tangled up doing it. It was awesome.
No, it's great for hands free. It's fantastic, and I've turned on quite a few focus pullers to use
absolutely.
So they can put their little remote Prestons like right here and still work on the camera, and it's great.
Well, same. I've had the same thing, and now I've been telling Ron that he should do one. Now I'm putting him on the spot here, but I've always said if it said camera department on it, everyone would be buying them from Panavision every time I go and order stuff. Sure. Right? If it's just like cam DEPT, it'd be there. But that's see, I have my little cable cutter and I have my little mailer beads for some good luck. But so that's BlackRapid bling.
Nice.
So there you go. Okay, Ronnie.
Thanks.
I want to have a look at this. Here we go. Look at that.
Nice.
That's cool.
All right.
That's living the moment. # live the moment.
Oh, it's just such a powerful image.
That's great.
That's a bridesmaid watching. It's an Indian wedding in California there in San Francisco where the bride was putting on her jewelry, her bracelets, and she's just watching, and you just try to get a different perspective, And I do not interrupt the room. I come in. I don't really talk much. I don't want to interrupt the vibe because it's about them. And if I do try to be the guy, hey, I'm here, I'm going to take some pictures, then I ruin the whole thing. The whole situation is beautiful already, and I just like to find the shot. I look for the shot. I don't try to create the shot. I look for the shot. Yeah.
I've always loved this shot.
Great image, yeah.
Yeah, it's
it really is, and it's in the arm. So cool. I love this.
Nice.
Yeah, your candid stuff. I mean, look at the guy. I mean, like the in the top foreground. I mean, that makes it.
Too is to create like an element of like at least a couple things going on in one shot. And this is the band backstage, and the other guy's just walking in, and I liked it a lot. I like this type of movement. It creates you thinking, when you're looking at something,
Sure. There's a great reflection in his glasses too.
Yeah. What band?
The Dandy Warhols was the name of it.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
They're awesome band. Yeah. Your photography is very similar to on-set photography.
Oh yeah,
I've got to say. Oh,
dude,
yeah!
Come on,
is that on my wall?
Nice.
That's my buddy. We were riding motorcycles. We were actually going the other direction, and I was following him. And we passed these two trees. And he was in front of me, and I just said, I got it caught up with him. I said, let's turn back around. I got a shot. I saw these two beautiful trees kind of sitting by themselves. This is an iPhone shot. And so I got in a shot. I got into a position that I knew that I would want, and I just had him come over the edge, and I shot that shot.
It's beautiful.
Oh, that is brilliant, so cool. Dude.
Those headlights on, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It really is. It's
wow.
It's like, but but that's seizing the, living the moment is your thing is like, stop, and it's like, get your mate. It's like, come on, I think I've seen this shot. Let's go back and crack it.
How many we have when we were riding with people that are I've been in a ride with 4 photographers. You know how many times we stop?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's also a testament to the best camera you have is the one that's with you.
It's with you, absolutely.
There you go.
I'm not a big. I mean, I've kind of learned on Nikon, and I have a lot of different types of cameras now. But the phone, when I go on motorcycle trips and stuff like that, or just stuff around the house, is phone. I just shoot with the phone.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love shooting my phone. Absolutely.
Yep.
You and Massey are going on a ride in a couple of weeks, right?
That's correct.
You was about to say Frankie would love this shot.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
If Frank has motorcycles?
I've heard he's dabbling. I've heard he's dabbling. I've heard he's dabbling. I've heard he's dabbling. I think he's gonna get a little piece of the garage.
Yeah.
He's gonna need a bigger garage.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You should actually do a print of this for him because he will put it in his garage.
Oh, he absolutely will put it in his garage.
Stuff like this. He would go nuts. So, team, that's the end of first part of 5 PhotoFolio. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back and check out the next one and future ones that we do as well. So, subscribe if you can, and do the bell, and see you soon.